All right, so we'll get started on pretty much what AGI is doing this semester. I'll start from the top. So this is our information night. I'll make this full screen. Good stuff. All right, so meet the lecturers. If you don't know about me or the other person lecturing, his name is Mohammed Charara. So a bit about me. I've had 4 years of trading experience. I started back when I was in high school because I had a shitty economics teacher who didn't answer a question to my level of satisfaction, and then I kind of got into trading. I'm primarily an index trader, so stuff like the Japan 225 and the ASX 200, as well as stuff like the China A50 and US tech markets. I'm also a forex trader. However, I don't trade that as often, as that's just a personal choice. My background is applied finance and economics. I've executed deals up to 30 million, my biggest being 60 million about a year and a half ago. I operate between 1 to 100 to 1 to 300 leverage. What we'll be working with in this course and what we'll be trying to push towards is 1 to 100, just because of a risk factor. I am a manual trader focusing on the principles of Gann, Dow theory, regression, and forecasting models, which we will go through throughout this course. Mohammed Charara, on the other hand, is a bit of my junior. He was the first student that I'd ever taught. He has 3 years of trading experience this year. He's exclusively a forex trader. That's just his decision. He likes the volatility of forex. He's studying engineering, and he's the founder of Trading Insight. He provides signals for individuals. He's primarily an algorithmic trader and has several published codes on TradingView. He mainly focuses on the principles of Dow. Let me just get rid of Christian. So the course has changed. The course has changed quite heavily since last year. We're taking away a basic focus on trading, and we're giving you guys a bit more of advanced outlook on it. So in week 1, we'll be doing trend analysis, where it's pretty much where we identify just basic support, resistance lines. We teach you. Oh my God, this kid. I might just turn off my internet just so he stops messaging me. There we go. Trust that it busts it. Okay, so yeah, week 1 we'll just be looking at basic trend analysis, kind of giving you an introduction into what is trading. The reason why we went with trend analysis first is because it's one of the key cornerstones of what trading actually is. It's one of the most valuable pieces of information that you understand, and it's something that you'll continue to use regardless of what avenue you go. If you go down the manual trading or you go down the algo trading, so that's why we've kind of decided to start with this. Trading psychology and risk management. We've noticed over the last year that a lot of students are still struggling with their risk management and stuff like emotional trading. So we really want to be able to hit that at the start of the course and kind of drag it out and make it a key reappearance throughout the entire duration of the course. Indicators and advanced graphical layouts. Specifically in this section, we'll be looking at the VP models. It's something that we haven't brought up in the past, but it is, as Harami did suggest, it is a type of volume profiling. We're going to be looking at the 3, and we're going to be looking about more advanced strategies using critical areas and high frequency trading volume areas to identify key support and resistance lines. Week 3 will probably be the biggest week so far on the course. In week 4, we obviously have to hit up the analytical tools, so we'll be starting to look at Fibonacci retracements. We'll be starting a basic introduction about stuff like pitchforks and Gann theory. And week 5, we'll be doing a bit more of advanced stuff about trend analysis, but looking at more so patterns and how you can identify where to actually get into the trade. Week 6, we'll be doing more advanced, so we'll be looking at your linear regress Gann theory, and we'll be looking at more predictive models, which is something that's my background, so I'm really looking forward to that. Week 7 is probably going to be my favorite week. It's where we look at the economics of trade. It's been something that's been highly demanded by a few of you students. Essentially what we'll be covering in this section is we'll be looking at the cause and effect of events. So for example, let's say that there's a drop in the price of oil. What is the effect and how can you take advantage of such a thing? Another great example that we do talk about quite a lot in class is the effect of natural disasters, the effect of global uncertainty, stuff like terrorism, and just other natural events, how you can kind of take advantage of that. Week 8 will probably be the most fun for you guys. It's where we actually try and get you to create your own strategy, and we show you backtesting methods so you can actually start to apply what you've learned, although we expect by week 8 you've already started to apply it, but in week 8 that's kind of where we get you to the point where we kind of want you to be. Week 9 we're just going to be doing a specific week on Forex. Mohammed will probably take that over, and then in week 10 we're going to end with the indices, which is what I'll be doing. And the reason we've set this up is because we believe that this is the best way to learn how to trade, and that's just kind of how we're going to run it. So delivery is pretty obvious. We'll be posting it onto the AGI page, which will send you to a YouTube link, and you can just watch it there. Just thought I'd include it because some people have asked about the delivery, if it's going to be posted online or anything like that. So the biggest changes is obviously the rework of the base course. It will be conducted from Monday, 12 till 2 p.m. The course aims to be a lot more in depth and a lot more heavily focused on what we're actually using. So we're not going to be filling you guys up with useless information, which we have done in the past. So things that might be ignored that we might not bring into is how we actually use moving averages. Moving averages are an okay indicator, but they're not the best one available. So that there could be something that we just completely cut out, as it's pretty much useless information. It will be replaced with something that's much, much better. Obviously, we're going to have more engagement in the classes. One thing that we did learn from last semester was that you guys absolutely loved us dividing up the class, pulling up a random asset and just saying, what's the position? I'm going to use what we learned in that class. And then Mohammed and I will try to sway you to a particular decision. We just want you guys to stick with what you want and just kind of justify your reasoning behind what your position is. Obviously, it'll be on a backtest one so that we can see the results of what you've learned. Biggest thing here probably is we've fixed the video uploads. Got a new computer, new software. I'm actually paying for software, not using free stuff anymore. So it's gonna be mint. Videos will be uploaded a lot more frequently. Instead of being every second week or every third week, it'll be consistently every week. I'm expecting it on Thursday. And two things that are pretty new from AGI is the live trading sessions, which will be announced. We'll have a separate meeting with people that are interested to determine when and what days they're available. And probably the most exciting one is the fund management, where I've actually reached out to some of my contacts who have expressed interest to me in the past about me managing funds, and I've kind of swamped that straight into AGI, where students will actually get the opportunity to act as a hedge fund. You'll be managing clients' accounts, you will have to do proper reporting, and I will be on top of you for every single step of that. If you mess up, I will let you know. So the live trading, what we want to do with this is we don't want Mohammed and I just to stand at the top and say, okay, this is the positions we're going to take, this is what we're doing, this is why we're doing it. What we want it to be is we want it to be more of a discussion. So say X person comes in, they say, okay, I want to have a look at the AUD USD. For whatever reason, we'll pull up the AUD USD and we will guide you in your analysis to get to the point where you can actually place a trade. If you make errors, or if you have a wrong assumption, or if you're not using the instrument correctly on a live trade, we will tell you, and we will tell you that you're doing it wrong, and we will correct you. The reason for this is because we want to start to get away from just using backtest data where you can just click a button and you can see into the future. We want to get to the point where you guys are confident with your live trading, and we want to get you to the point where you can go past the course and actually start to make money. In the past, students have focused on backtesting their strategies, and we've noticed that they're a bit too risky. They're a bit too risky with their position sizes because it's just demo trading. What we want to do in this kind of aspect is we want to get rid of that whole demo environment, and we want to actually chuck you into the deep end of forcing you to do look at live data, to look at live trades, to look at actual positions that you could take in class. If you think that this is going to be where you just come down, sit down for 2 hours and just listen, and you get carried to making 3-4 grand, you're absolutely wrong. I will attack you verbally, maybe physically. But you can ask any of the guys last semester if anyone was there just sitting quietly. Mohammed and I both came after them with questions, and we wouldn't stop until you gave us an answer. And that's something that you can expect to continue with this course. Oop. So the fund management is probably the most exciting thing that's going to be coming to AGI. So as I said, yes, I've gone to some of my contacts that have expressed interest in giving me some funds in the past, and they've pretty much, g'day guys, And they pretty much said to me, yes, we want to be on board with this. We want to be able to have the opportunity to give not only you, but students the opportunity to start to make money. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be taking clients' funds and we're actually going to be investing on their behalf. We're going to be doing fortnightly reports to them. So everything is going to be in the exact same structure it has been when I've done my contracting. There'll be negotiations between clients, and of course, everyone that wants to do this will get the opportunity to see the negotiations, how we negotiate a contract, and the current contract style that we've gone with. What the role of an individual that would want this, that wants to get into this, pretty much would be just what you do in class, but to a higher level. Analysis of an asset, pretty much justifying your reasoning behind it, proper risk management, looking at the psychological aspects of your trading, teamwork, yada, yada, yada. It's pretty much self-explanatory. We're looking for around 10 to 15 students maximum for this. That's just because that's what I and Mohammed believe that we can manage. Anything more than that, and it starts to get a bit unmanageable for us and just becomes not fair to those students. We want to have a kind of a close-knit group of individuals that are passionate about trading, passionate about wanting to get into the market, and want to learn a bit more about how we actually do contracting for individuals. So what the current contract that we've currently got or currently looking at with our clients is almost a borderline risk-free one for them. The way we've done this is I've had to take on a bit more personal risk and essentially secure their funds if a student does go and lose all their money. So there's a bit of a risk on Mohammed's on my side, but we believe that the team that we select will be up to the challenge. This is currently a trial. We are looking at a 1 to 2 month trial period on this fund management section. If at the end of 2 months we've returned even just something positive, then we can start to discuss making a bit more or taking a bit more clients on. Currently, we're looking at 5. I have 5 that I'm in discussion with. I know that there's about 2, 3 that are guaranteed. So we're looking at expanding that if this does go the way that Mohammed and I want it to. So, where's that button? There it is. So essentially the layout of AGI and how it's going to work now is we're not just offering one course. We're going to have 3 subsidiaries. We're going to have the community, and then we're going to have branch off sections for whatever aspect you want to get into. So let's say you want to get into the fund management, you'll have to join the AGI fund management page. That way it's just so that we're not having overlapping. It's a great way for us to streamline and communicate to the people that we want to communicate instead of just having everyone in a massive shit fight. Before I go on any further, does anyone have any questions that they want addressed? Anything at all?
Any points on when your live trading session is going to be?
Yeah, so we're looking at the moment, it's looking like they will commence in week 3 because that's when we can start to put requests in for room bookings. Personally, I'd like to have an actual computer lab where we can have everyone on a computer, and then we can have Mohammed and I at the front of the table with a big nice screen instead of us being stuck in the normal conference room where we just have one screen and everyone using computers on their laps. However, that is still in discussion between myself and the head of finance, but there will be an announcement made 100%. Does anyone have any other questions before I move on to the next part? Good stuff. So there is one bad side about the latest changes that we've made, and that is how we've managed to get the clients and how we've managed to convince people that have a lot of disposable income to give that to students with little to very no trading background. And this is kind of where it will show whether or not you actually want to get on board or if this has kind of been a bit of a hobby for you. So unfortunately, there is a cost. Mohammed and I have discussed this quite a lot. We are not doing this to make money. We haven't done this to make money since day one. We've done it for a year for free, and we want to continue to do that. However, we don't see it being viable for us to take that risk on. So what we're doing is we're trying to give a little bit of a buffer between where the actual client's money kicks in. So this is essentially what we're doing. The base course will be 200, the live trading will be 500, and the fund management will be 500. The reason for this is it just allows us to give the investors a bit more of a buffer on top of what they already have put in. so that they can have that risk-free opportunity and makes them want to invest in us. What we're doing here is we're not trying to make, and I really want to emphasize that, and you can go back to when we started this back at day one. We offered this course for free. The only reason that we're charging now is so that we can start to do this more advanced stuff, where we can start to take on contracts, we can start to take on clients. And you can just go and see that just by looking at competitors. If you go and have a look at someone like Learn to Trade, they charge north of $2,000 for a 3-day course. We're charging $200 for a 10-week course. $20 a week. I'm sure that if you have any job, you can afford that. And that's why we've kind of we've tried to make it as affordable as possible. If there's any short straw or anything that doesn't meet the investors' requirements, again, that'll fall on me and I'll be able to put in. However, I personally don't feel, in a sense, fair that we offer this course and that we have to bear the cost of that. So that's been the decision behind why we've taken this approach. These are the figures that they won't change, and they're the minimum that we've kind of decided on. So that there is the biggest changes that are happening with AGI for 2019 semester 2 and what will be happening in the future. Does anyone have any questions? Yep.
Firstly, hey, sorry I'm late.
No, it's fine.
Okay, so I have a question about like those 3 streams, right? So the course.
Yep.
Like, if I were to purchase that, then like I would have a benefit where I'm learning.
Mm-hmm.
If I paid $500 for live trading, I would also have a benefit in that I can see what you and Mohammed are doing and I can learn that way. What do I get back for paying the $500 for the fund manager?
You will make that money back. Because what you're doing is the live trading and the fund management side are kind of the same thing. The only difference is there's a bit more responsibility on you if you take the fund management. I have no issue with you coming to class and when we make a decision to place a trade, because in the fund management side, every decision will have to be approved by Mohammed and I. If we disagree, the trade won't be placed. So if you come to that class, what will happen is Mohammed and I will say, yes, this is an investment. This is a good thing to get into. I have no issue in the world with you going onto your personal account and placing a trade on the exact same asset. Not an issue in the world. I really don't care. That's up to you. So that there is a way that you can make your money back really quickly.
I thought the fund management means that we are doing those trades with other people's money.
100%, yeah, you are. So if I'm saying, if you wanted to open up a trade account yourself, yeah, so I'm assuming that most people here, when they get into the course, they will be trading themselves. If you want, you can join the fund management or you can join the live trading, and I have no issue, Mohammed has no issue either, because you'll bear that risk and we'll get you to sign something to saying that we're disclosed from it. But essentially, we have no issue with you coming in and just, say that there's a short in AUD USD, these are our reasons, and Mohammed and I both agreed on it. 2 people with combined of 7 years, Mohammed, multimillionaire, me, multimillionaire as well, $12 million in the bank. We're not going to get wrong that often. You're going to make your money back. The only reason that we have that cost there is so that we can then put that on top of what the investors are putting in to act as a buffer, so that they have this in brackets risk-free investment. And that's kind of how we've pushed it to the investors. We've said, okay, I want to give Hiromi the opportunity to play with $5,000. If you were an investor, would you give a university student $5,000 to just go to town with? The answer is absolutely not. This is how we've come to the conclusion of structuring this program, is if we want to attract investors, we have to have something that's enticing them. They don't lose anything at the end of the day. At the end of the day, they get their money back. They get their principal back. There's no risk for them. And to any sane human being, that is an exponential, great opportunity. You've got Mohammed, myself, 7 years behind us, combined income over the last of north of $15 million. So for an investor, that speaks quite heavily, and that's kind of the direction we've pushed. So if you do come to this, you do take on the live trading, you do take on the fund management, if you're smart and you open up a trade account, you will make that money back.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, does anyone else?
So
here's a big couple of questions. So
Sure, go for it.
Fund management side of things.
Yep.
Your investors that are coming in, how much are they willing to put so far?
So what we're looking at right now is a trial period. We've been given $1,000 per investor, which is $5,000. So it's not a huge amount of money, but then what we're going to do is we're going to all the money that we get from every other direction straight on top.
Right. So you're basically are saying is anyone can invest technically.
At this stage, no. We've limited it to 5, and I kind of have the 5 in mind. If one of them does drop off, or if an offer does come, that's fine. I won't say no. But at the moment, I'm waiting to hear back from a few of them, and then we're going to do a bit of a presentation. I'm going to pitch what we're doing a bit more in detail to them. We're going to have to do a bit of back check on my records, show my previous history, and then we're going to go from there. And the other question? Or?
No, yeah, I mean, I was saying that in like down the track, right, when you get the students into the fund management program, and after the program, they put in $500, right?
Yep.
So you're saying that the way they can kind of recuperate the fee is for them to trade themselves the same kind of assets that we give like green light to.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is down the track, let's say we grow our fund under management, just with 3 investors right now, but let's say hypothetically 6 or 7 investors putting in 5 figures each. We grow our fund to let's say 50,000, 60,000. Would we be willing to give distributions to?
Oh, 100%, yeah. Because at that point, we couldn't consider you just a student muck around thing. It would be more of a company, and we can't have you doing stuff for free.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of illegal.
Yeah. That's good to know.
So, yeah, if even if now, I was in the shower last night just thinking about if we did make a stupid amount of money, what could we do? That there is something to discuss. Obviously, some of it will need to be retained to attract, shower thoughts. Obviously, some of that money will need to be retained for the future to attract further investors so that you guys don't have to continually put in if that was something that you want to do. Another thought was we could just, go out, Korean barbecue, get, I'm not saying get on that soju, but I'm saying get on that soju. But that there is something that we will have to discuss with the individuals that are in the fund. What we're actually going to do with the if we do turn a profit. Let's say hypothetically we make $25,000. $25,000 profit. We will definitely have to have a sit down and discuss what we're doing with that because. Again, as I said at the start, Mohammed and I are not, this is not an avenue for us to make stupid amounts of money. We already have a way to do that. We're quite happy doing that. This is a program to get you guys to the level that we're at so that we can kind of get to a better idea of where we can take this in the future. Because the end goal for this fund management idea, and it's kind of been in the last year building, is to get that hedge fund where we have 6, 7, 8 guys that are at our level where we can turn 50 grand into $3 million in a year. That's kind of where we're trying to get to right now.
So for the investors, what will be their cut if we do get that?
So I'm looking at 60-40.
Okay.
The reason I'm looking at 60-40 and not something more aggressive is because you guys are students at the end of the day. There is no risk on their behalf. However, for them to kind of justify in their head that they can just say goodbye to $1,000, and I know they're getting it back at the end of the day, but there's going to be a period where they might be down $1,000, and in my head, they're still doing something great for us, they're doing something great for you guys, so they do need to have a degree of reward. Yeah. Does anyone else have any other questions, queries? Do you want to see what we're trying to get you guys to at the end of this year? Like the level that we're trying to get you guys to? Would that help? Yep.
I have a question. In this course this semester, would there be a bit more emphasis on actually the trade, the lot sizing and that, actually, not really the technical analysis side, but as well actually executing the trade?
So you're saying, say you have $1,000, what should my lot size be?
like just basically like I know you guys are fond of IG, like the IG platform, that type of thing. Will you guys be able to walk us through that?
Absolutely, yeah. So that's going to be part of our risk management sector. It's something that Mohammed and I have realised, and specifically Mohammed has realised through his Signal platform, that when he releases a signal, people will take it as gold, as the Bible's word or Mohammed's word or whatever, and then they'll go put 90% of their portfolio onto one movement, which is ridiculous. So that is something that definitely does need to be addressed. We thought that the way that we approached risk management last semester was sufficient. We've realised that it wasn't, and we're going to be backtracking quite a bit, taking it back down to basics, and actually showing you, if you have X dollar account, what should your lot size be? And we're going to take that very, very slow when we do that. Yeah. Does anyone else? Yes.
Okay, about the course for the next semester, how much would you say would be stuff that had not been previously taught, like last semester?
So obviously there's some of the stuff we do have to go over again, because it is fundamental knowledge, and I don't feel that a lot of the people that took the course last semester can just be skipped over that fundamental stuff. But there's also the aspect of new students where they have never had exposure to the fundamental stuff. So yes, we will be going over some chunks of it, but as I did say at the start, we're going to be cutting out a lot of the useless stuff. We're going to be pretty much cutting the shit out, and we're just going to be, instead of something that's completely useless, like say stochastic oscillator, nobody uses that. Get rid of that. It's useless. But we have to teach. We taught it to you last semester because it's something that you should know. But now we're getting into the more advanced stuff. When I say advanced stuff to the new people, don't get put off by that. You can, if you have half a brain cell, you can pick it up. But what we will definitely be covering some of the basic stuff, but we will be going from basic to what Mohammed and I are doing right now very quickly. So I hope that answers that one. Does anyone else have any other questions? We'll work that one out. Mohammed and I have discussed it's pretty much just, we're thinking just a bank transfer or a direct deposit into an IG account, and then we're just going to use that IG account as the central platform, because we'll have the investors pump that in. That's just a way to have everything in a nice little bundle. That's kind of what we're looking at. But there's a bit of a talk between me and a lawyer that needs to happen as to what the tax stuff is and if this needs to be paid with tax and how much, so that I can. Sorry, we do not have that yet, because this is still a trial program. So yeah, it's a demo, and we don't want to get an ABN for a demo.
I'll just pay you in cash, Jacob.
Then nobody has to know. Yeah, so that's pretty much what we're looking at. We're thinking more so the IG straight transfer, and I can just call my mate over at IJ and say we're getting a few investors that are coming in, and he can just go, yeah, thumbs up. He writes an email off, and it's all good. I'm kind of liking that idea a lot more, because we can just pass it off as investors are coming in, which I guess in a way you guys are, because you'll be investing into it and such and such. But that's pretty much how I see it happening. Does anyone have anything else that they want to ask? Like ask now, because I'd rather you ask now than over Facebook and I can't properly explain it and then you get confused or there's a miscommunication.
Dude, why are you doing it? Why are you sharing your secrets?
Why am I doing it? That is something I ask myself quite a lot. I'm not gonna lie, it's for the resume. Mate, listen, it looks bloody mint. But no, there is a bit of a reason. I'm fourth year applied finance economics student. Trading is this huge section of finance that we don't touch. It's ridiculous that we don't touch it as finance students. It's honestly, in my eyes, applied finance is a fail of a degree. Because of how much stuff in finance we actually don't touch. And I see it as we're paying all this money. We got myself, a domestic student, paying $5,000 or whatever it is. And we've got international students paying 5 times that, and they still don't learn this stuff. It's ridiculous. And this is the discussion that I actually had with the head of finance, saying how stupid this is.
And also, we kind of technically the way this whole thing started,
If you
Is that-
say you're going to take credit, I will get up and stab you.
Not exactly. No, as in, I saw this guy. He's, there's this unit called Pace 360, where we were trying to do the same. We were trying to get into the same internship program.
He beat me.
And I beat him to go to Singapore. But I did beat him, and he did strike me as one of those kids that were like, shit, he has like a lot of money. And he knows what he's doing. Is he trying to get to the internship in Singapore? And I did actually ask him that. He was like, oh, it's all for his resume. I'm like, well, okay, fine. So I got it, so I was like, oh, well, shit. And then I told him, like, you know what, let's just do our own thing. And I know that he's super passionate about trading, that we'll create our own little program and we'll make it into this kind of stage. This is kind of our vision from the very, very beginning. Jacob's the one who just did everything. I didn't do anything. I just basically told him,
That's right.
this is where we want to end up in. Mate, if you can do it, because I can't like dedicate my time to it. But I told him, if you can get there, this is going to help not just you guys, but I feel like the entire cohort of applied finance students studying at commerce, economics degrees.
Because look at it now, we have 360 students in the community. Like that's ridiculous.
And the weird thing about this is when we set it up, we thought these students would just be like, you know what, I see whatever Jacob posts or whatever Mohammed posts, we'll just see them and then they'll just go about their own lives. But these 360 students are actively engaged with what we're posting. Because they know that this is actually a different way of doing things. Because you got Jacob who've actually done this. And we're trying to taking it to the serious route. Before we were just like playing around, just see what works. This program and the course that Jacob and Mohammed laid out is through heavy market research from last year. I told him like, mate, you guys are like really fucking around like last year, just doing all this shit. But when Jacob told me that this is all because there is the end goal of fund management, when he told me that, and the hedge fund side of things, I just knew that this is where he wanted to end up in.
Yeah.
He wanted to train not 1,000 people, but about like 10 or 20 people who he can take and really train you guys up, and then you guys train up the next generation, the next cohort.
Because I'll throw something at you. There's a guy that I know who works at, I won't say the company. Well, he used to work for CPA. He no longer works there. He's a guy with very, very deep pockets over in the UK. So deep pockets that he was willing to throw $40 million my way. That's unleveraged, $40 million. That's it. My way to form a team of students, investors, and trade that money for a few years. I had to say no, because I don't have that team yet. I want to get to the point where I can go, yeah, sure, it's $40 million, let's go. Let's take that and let's start to actually trade. I don't think right now that there's anyone apart from Mohammed that I'd take for that. 2 people, it's not enough. I guess to answer it, it's not just I'm getting something from you, your guys are getting something from me. At the end of the day, there could be a time where I can get something from you. And for me, that's kind of where my payday is.
And you gotta like understand, this is just the whole grand scheme of things. If you're saying, okay, I'm gonna put $200 and I'm never gonna see that return again, trust me, you will. And the reason being is, Jacob down the track, he has a lot of networks. And some of the networks he had to say no to, like the 40 million. I think there's like
There's been others
saying, giving him money. God, go ahead, Jacob. I know you can make a lot of money. I'm going to give you $1 million. See if you can make 20 million. Jacob has to say no because he doesn't want to do it himself. So he wants to let other people who he trains do the work as well. Because everyone at the end of the day want to get something out of it.
Yeah.
So this is a weird thing because you think like even though he makes so much money, that he's a bit like selfish. He's actually
I am.
not. He's surprisingly, weirdly, he's not, because he understands that the reason why he's doing all of this is for you guys at the end of the day.
Oh, and for me.
And this is
Don't get me wrong, this is for me.
mainly. but the idea is that you guys, I know you'd be like $100 is a lot. If you invest it now and stick with it till the end, holy shit, your earning potential just like exponentially goes up.
Like to go off that, we've got a few past students here. we've got Hiromi, who's an active trader today. We've got Soren, who's quite active now and actually made it through to the final round of Akuna Capital interviewing, but met a dickhead of an interviewer, so got you back. Did you end up getting that? Nah, shit, go. It's because you didn't know. You didn't come enough. That's what it is. Pretty much everyone there is a past student, and they've come back again. For the second year, and I'm hoping that they'll come back for a third year to learn more. And I'm assuming, I just swear to God, you guys are making some degree of money. Breaking even, I'll take that. But breaking even, there's the potential for him, so I'm happy with that. At least you're doing something. But even I can just think off the top of my head. There's some people here that catch, even David here, caught a brilliant, the blonde one in the jacket right there, next to Hiromi, next to the Asian kid. On the table, right there. Yeah, even David just there. He messaged me one day about a Japan 225 opportunity that he caught. I was in that position, but I was amazed that a student from my course had been able to make money in a position that I'd seen as well. And that's what this is about. It's getting you guys to the point where you can start to make money, so that I can get to the point where I can start to bring you into what I'm doing, and we can start to make a stupid amount. Because that's the goal at the end of the day.
It's hard to do that without a team.
It's bloody hard. It's like, an average day is, for me right now, is 18 hours trading. I don't want to be doing that when I'm 30, 40 years old. I want to have people working with me so that I can cut down my hours. That's what this is about.
Is there anything you feel like you're missing out on your team other than manpower?
I mean, like a woman, no. I'm not about that gender. If you can do the job, I don't care what you are. Not really, to be honest. It's just basically manpower. Yeah, that's really it. At the end of the day, I feel confident in my own ability to do, analysis and trade and do all that stuff. But I don't want to be doing that 18, 19 hours a day, because that's a bit much for me. And it's starting to get a bit much now. I've been doing it for the last 4 years. This is my 5th year at the end of this year of doing that. It's starting to take a bit of a toll. So I want to start to cut down that, and I want to start to get to the position where I can start to hand off some of those duties to people. And this is the first big trial. This has been a year's worth of work to get to this point where I can go, okay, guys, I have actually something to offer you. If you pull your fucking heads in, we can do something pretty amazing. Because that's the level that we're getting to now. Does anyone else have anything before I pull up what we want to be getting you guys to towards the end of the semester? Yes.
What if we have a way of coming to a trading decision that's so different to you, Mohammed?
I would fucking love that, to be honest.
If you're given the green light, if it's so different.
No, if you came to me with a new idea, mate, you've got my full attention. You will have my attention more than anyone else in that class. I love new ideas. Some of my strategies have come from the dumbest things in the world. Like I can't remember who I was teaching, but one of my fractal maps came from the idea of a bloody baby walking up the road. Seeing it sway side to side, but staying along. It's just in my head. It's like it's just learnt to walk, but it still has a pattern. It has a pattern. So that means if something as complicated as a baby's walk can have a pattern, that should mean that stocks and assets have a pattern. How can I map that? And that's how I came to this big fractal mapping idea. So if you have an idea, please hit me with it straight away. Don't be quiet and don't think, oh, it's not good enough. I will tell you if it's not good enough. And I'll tell you where you've gone wrong so you can get to the point where it's going, okay, I actually like this. Let's start to implement this. If you do come onto the fund, it's not going to be like, yeah, Mohammed and I we're big dick soldiers at the top of the hill and you guys are just there to just look good. No, it's going to be you guys are telling us what you think, and then we're going to be shooting down the shit ideas and carrying the ones that are great. But it won't be just shooting down. We'll be telling you that you're wrong and telling you why you're wrong and telling you to get better at what such and such. It won't be just us making all the decisions. The reason we're making decisions is because we need to make the lot sizes. We need to choose the actual pinpoint entry points, because this is actually real money. This is not a fuck around anymore. And to be honest, I don't trust anyone here with the ability to do that. At least not yet. I trust Mohammed with it because I've known his trade history. I don't know many of your trades history. If you get to the point where I do, that's a different story. But if you have a new idea, please hit me with it straight away.
Are you graduating this semester?
I am not. Anyone else? Oh yeah, this takes a lot out of me talking. So I will show you the level of where I think. I'll just go back a little bit. Of where I want replay. It's not letting me replay, so you're just gonna have to deal with it. This is kind of a basic idea of where I want you guys to be at the end of the semester. I'll get up and I'll talk about it. So these green extension lines here, they're predictive linear regression Gann lines. What Gann pretty much stated is that everything moves along an angle, particular angle. Usually that angle is 45 degrees. However, when you're using TradingView, one of the biggest things that happens is you have an issue with your price to bar ratio. Price to bar ratio is, oops, where's the mouse? It's pretty much just zooming in and zooming out. So when you zoom in, your price to bar ratio changes. When you zoom out, your price to bar ratio changes again. So one of the biggest issues is that you can't get a consistent 45-degree angle. If you apply a linear regression model or a regression model, you actually can. You completely overcome that issue. And you start to get beautiful lines that stay valid for up to 200 days. That's sensational. You've got forecasting, you've pretty much just forecasted 200 periods worth of data from doing 2 minutes work. That's sensational. The next thing that we have is an obvious Fibonacci retracement. For those that know how to use that, you know what that's about. Just pretty much shows when the asset is likely to retrace. Retrace being reverse. So bounce up. So say it's in a downward trend, bounce up. Say if it's in an upward trend, bounce down. That's pretty much what that Fibonacci retracement kind of in a simpleman's terms does. What I've done here, this here is sine wave mapping. We're looking for patterns or recollection of patterns. I've just cleaned up the graph so it looks a bit better, but you can use a double overlapping sine wave to kind of identify when patterns are in and out of trending periods. It's a great way to do almost kind of like time interval analysis. What we have here is we have the VP models. There are two there. There's three that we're going to teach you. I haven't put up the third one. I think I was just lazy. But in this situation, because this isn't a real asset that I'm analyzing, this is just a proof of point. So we have one there, and then there should be another one on the side. Where's it gone? Oh, that, mate, you're a switched on bird, you are. Jesus Christ. It's one net, yeah? Oh, son. Yeah, okay, here we go. That
You asked a simple question. I gave a simple answer.
is the internet on? Sorry, what's the question? Repeat. So yeah, this is the second VP model that we're going to be using. It's a very interesting one because it's actually a volume model. Now, in the past, I've said that volume trading is like kicking yourself in the nuts. It's actually what type of volume trading you use. There's volume per day and there's volume per price. If you're looking at volume per price, you're actually getting a great idea as to when investors are likely to buy in given a certain price. And that's shown by this lovely histogram. So as we can see here, this here is called a HVT, high volume trading, and it'll give you an idea that this here is likely where an investor would buy or sell. We'll teach you pretty much how to identify things like clearance zones. So when an asset gets to a certain point, it's just going to keep dropping or just keep rising. We'll show you how to identify that. The final thing are these orange lovely lines here. They help you identify your clearance zones. We also are going to introduce one more thing, which is called ghost pivots. Ghost pivots really help you identify future or forecasted reversal points based on previous data points, which is just great because trends do tend to recycle, they do tend to repeat, and that's what we're going to be pushing for you to learn. So this is just a basic model of one of the things that we'll be working on or working to get you to the point of learning. I think it's achievable. I think it's very achievable for everyone here to learn that and to get that in 10 weeks. Does anyone have any questions about, I don't know, anything? Why I've chosen to teach you this, or something like that? Yeah.
What's the difference with the ghost pivots you mentioned and just ordinary pivots?
So yeah, ghost pivots are predictions on what's happening in the future, so usually a lot further. So for this one, we use minimum 1 week up to a few months. And what that allows you to do is allows you to pretty much take a very educated guess as to where sell or buy points are. So let's say, I don't know, let's say that there's a ghost pivot there and it's saying that in a week, that's potentially where you could look at. That might be a sell opportunity based on other technicals. And that there could be something for you to easily take advantage of. But that there will be obviously tied in with other things. You won't just use it by itself. Does anyone else have any other ones? No? Is anyone confused or about anything? It's pretty straightforward. Good stuff. Okay. Well, on that note, if no one else has anything else to add or ask or talk about,
So wait, I wanted to ask the live trading part of the aspect of it.
sure, go for it.
How would that be structured?
What do you mean?
Like, as in, you have your own, like your AGI course.
Mm-hmm.
Would live trading be done after you do the course?
It'll be up to the people that are interested to decide when they're available. So let's say, I don't know, back row, you all want to do it. We'll sit down and we'll say, when are we available? When are most of us available to make that course? Because let's say I'm available every day. I'm not, but let's say I am. And I say, I want to make it Monday, Thursday, Friday, but not like only 30% of the class is available those 3 days. That's not fair. It's more fair if we try and get everyone that is interested in the course available at least two days. So it'll be up to them to decide when the course occurs. And Mohammed and I will try to be present at every single one. There may be times where one of us isn't, but we will make an announcement about that.
So what happens if you come to a decision where, like, I don't know, there are 10 people who do the live trading, about 7 of them can make that day,
Mm-hmm.
the other 3 don't make it. And let's say they can't make it the entire, let's say 10 weeks.
You will not be doing it then. That's it.
No, as in, what if they still pay for it? You're gonna refund
You will get your money back. Yeah, because that's just not fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can't make it, then you can't make it. But what I think will happen is we'll sit down before you pay and be like, let us know what days. Or it'll be in the questionnaire for when you have to join. What days are you available? What times? You know, something like that. Yeah. Does anyone else? Harami, I think you had a question.
Alright. When do we have to pay for the base?
Mate, listen, we're starting week 1,
Next week.
pretty much. Or we can start, I'll talk to Mohammed, but week 1 or week 2, I'll make an announcement. We're going to be in conference room. It's looking like conference room E, which is the one that we used last semester. For anyone that doesn't know where that is it Muse or Baseline? One of them? Muse, Student Connect. Student Connect is it? It's Student Connect.
But it's called Maze up top.
Maze.
Level 3.
Maze, yeah, okay. Near the Macquarie lecturing building.
Top
It's
level of Muse.
there we go. He knows his stuff. So yeah, that's where we'll be going. And yeah, so that'll be between now and the 29th or week 2. We'll get that sorted.
Okay.
But even if you are to pay late, the videos will be uploaded online, so you won't miss anything.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah, this is the time to ask questions if you have them. Even just a small inkling of a doubt or something. This is the time. No?
Wouldn't people that don't pay, wouldn't they be able to just watch the videos online?
They would not, unless one of you guys that pay for it decides to share it. Which, if you want to do that, man, like do it, but you're kicking yourself in the nuts, like. Because what we plan to do is on that, I thought I made it pretty clear with the AGI and then the 3 subcategories. We're going to make 3 separate group forums, and the way you get in is it'll be invited. You'll click to join, and then I will have to approve you.
Right.
And the only way you'll be approved is if I've seen that you've actually shoved the money through, and that can be done by screenshots or me just checking the IG account. So that's how that will work. And then if you decide to be the spastic and just let all your mates do it for free, that's on you. But be ethical.
Yeah.
Like, don't be a dick. So yeah, that's how that will work. Does anyone else have any other questions? No? Okay, cool. I guess almost tripped over that again. I guess thanks for coming, and hope to see you guys next semester. Thank you.